Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. So let me get this straight. You get injured while making a delivery, and this entitled Karen wants to berate you because the delivery took longer than expected? Like, what the actual hell? Hopefully you're able to recover completely, OP. Channeling positive energy. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. I get injured on a delivery. Karen berates me because the delivery's taking longer than usual. So last night was fun. I'm disabled due to a hit-and-run driver. I don't get disability, so on my good days when my back isn't hurting too much, I do deliver for a popular online retailer that also owns a chain of grocery stores. Last night, I start my delivery shift. Of course, Karen's being Karen's, the first order, which is upstairs, also includes cases of water and gallons of water, because of course it does. Since this apartment complex decides that 24-point type is an appropriate script to write their unit numbers on, instead of anything that, say, a paramedic or delivery person could see from any distance, I'm out of my car on foot looking for the apartment since Karen didn't answer either my text message or phone calls asking for help locating her delivery location. While I'm on foot, heading back to my car, because I think I've spotted the correct building number, a large and aggressive dog comes at me. I run and get in my car, but not without falling, twisting my ankle, and biting down so hard that I chipped a tooth, which sucks. I get in the car. The dog's now gone. Don't know where he went. Did the owner of the dog catch it? I don't know. I was in the car in pain, catching my breath. So I call our on-the-road support folks, who generally are pretty helpful, and get permission to return this delivery to the store, and then Karen calls me back. I don't know why I answered my can-do customer service instincts, but I told support, hold on, it looks like the customer's actually calling me back. Let me see if I can get this order delivered. Oh man. So I answer. Karen starts demanding why I haven't delivered the order yet. I told her, hey, I just got injured by one of your neighbor's dogs. My ankle's hurt. Can you give me a little help here finding your place? I just want to get you your groceries. And Karen goes on a rant about how the groceries aren't for her, they're for her daughter, who is a nursing student with a large protective dog. And her daughter normally uses a folding wagon for groceries, and maybe she'll come down and help grab those groceries. Nope, Karen's daughter doesn't want to do that, but she'll make sure to keep her large protective dog inside. I'm left wondering if this is the same dog that tried to eat my liver. I told Karen that's okay. While I'm expected to deliver the groceries to the door, dispatch has given me permission to return the order to the store. I can complete the order. The pain in my ankle hasn't set in that much, adrenaline and all, and Karen insists on me staying on the phone with her the whole time. And the whole time she's going on and on about how she wanted the delivery completed by a certain time, and now it's not going to be delivered on time. I told her I understand that. I didn't expect to have a dog come after me either, nor to get hurt, but I'm completing the delivery in spite of being injured. Why? Why was I so stupid? I couldn't put much weight on my ankle, so I couldn't carry as much as usual, and it took me a long time. So it took me about 4 to 5 trips to get this lady's stuff all in front of her daughter's door, the nursing student daughter who never so much as poked her head out to see if I was okay. Karen was angry at me the whole time, talking about how I raised her blood pressure so much her chest was hurting. Huh? How's that? By delivering her grocery order and taking longer than usual to do so? I don't know yet if she called the company to complain, but it was the next to worst delivery I've ever been on. The worst being in 2018, where some yahoo out in the middle of nowhere decided to shoot at me for bringing them something that they ordered. Thankfully, the guy was a bad shot. And no, they did not get their delivery, and were banned forever. But the police did nothing to the dude. So it's the next day. I slept for like 10 or 11 hours, and I'm posting this. My ankle seems to have a mild sprain, my other foot hurts, and my tooth is still chipped. I'm waiting back to see if I'll get paid for the amount of time I had to work over thanks to this nonsense. Independent contractor work. Yay. Fun times. P.S. I don't know about most of y'all, but if someone was injured bringing me food, I would want to see that they're all right. I most certainly would be kind and sympathetic if it took a few extra minutes for them to bring me the food. I could have just not answered Karen's call, taken the groceries back to the store when I was done with my other deliveries, and still would have been paid. At worst, I would have missed out on a tip. if Karen actually tipped at all, but I also would have been paid for the extra time it took me to take those groceries back to the store. So completing that order most definitely went against my best interests, and I'm left wondering if the dog that came after me was Karen's daughter's dog. People in this area can be so irresponsible about dogs, and I love doggos. They're my favorite critters. And our second story. One of those days. I was having a particularly crappy day while working one of my assigned tasks in a local Walmart. I've been working as a data collector for quite some time now and frequent many local stores, not being employed by a single one of them. While gathering some prices and other data from the section where they keep their dish soap, I hear a very loud ahem from behind me. Normally, I'm very attuned to my surroundings and was quite startled that someone had managed to sneak up behind me. I'll also add that if you aren't rude to me, I will go out of my way to help any customer that asks, regardless of being paid or not by that particular store. I turn around and elderly lady, C, we'll call her, introduces herself, eyes already glaring into my soul. Very rudely, she snarls, "Do you work here?" In that moment, I felt extremely bad for any retail worker that actually worked for the store because this lady was one of a kind. She was in it for their job and she was in it for blood. I responded with a very polite, "No, ma'am, but if you need anything from where I'm at, just let me know and I'd be happy to move or get it for you." Normally, at this point, the story usually ends. Not with this lady. She asked me once more if I worked for Walmart. I felt like a broken record, responding with, "No." And then C made some remarks about how rude it is to just stand in a store and take pictures of everything while customers are trying to shop, etc., etc. This woman would not leave me alone no matter what I said to her, and no, I wasn't taking pictures. "Do you need something from right here?" I asked again. "Because I would appreciate it if you stopped harassing me and left me to do my work. I don't bother you at yours." I was livid at this point. The sheer entitlement that this woman presented herself with made me sick. If I had the option to, I would have moved to a different aisle and continued my work, but I was on a deadline on this specific day, and this aisle happened to be the last one before I could submit my assignment. C didn't like my accusations of harassment, nor did she actually need anything from that aisle at all. Instead, she went and found an associate that worked for Walmart, who happened to be not too far from where we were at. Newfound weapon in tow, Lady C comes back up to me with a huge grin, something I never thought she was capable of. The store associate that she brought with her asked me if I was a customer or a vendor for the store. I explained my job to her, as well as the fact that I had asked C twice if she needed anything from where I was at or needed me to move, and added that at this point I would appreciate being left alone to do my work. The associate turned around and asked her, "Did you need anything from right here?" pointing to where I was still standing, trying to mind my own business, to which C stammered, well, no. Realizing that the nuke needed to be dropped, I looked C square in the face and told her, "If you don't stop harassing me, we're going to get this all on the record." C immediately leaves with her cart. The associate she had brought over shrugged at me and apologized. I told her that it was all good. I'm close with one of the managers here if anything comes from it, and I thought that was the end of it. About an hour later, just as I'm finishing up the aisle all this started on, C almost hits me with her cart on my way out. It still had the same 3 items in it from when we met. Chuckling inside, I looked her square in the face and said, "Have a great day, ma'am." The glare she returned my way was effing priceless. "I don't work here, lady." And our last story. HOA Karen built a swimming pool on my 100-year-old family land. So let's roll back the clock a bit. My great-grandfather, with a twinkle in his eye and a shovel in his hand, decided to plant an apple garden. Now, this wasn't just any garden. It was more like a mini Eden, minus the serpents and forbidden fruit. Or so we thought. Over a century old now, this garden became our family's pride, joy, and the occasional source of some pretty intense apple pie rivalries. Every autumn, as the apples blushed red, we'd throw these massive fruit parties and barbecues. Imagine a scene straight out of a sitcom. Uncles arguing over grill techniques, aunts gossiping with laughter louder than the music, and kids running around like they'd consumed their body weight in sugar. And the cider and cavalvados my grandfather made is the lost knowledge of ancient civilizations. I think Indiana Jones would kill me if I had the recipe. Unfortunately, I was too young and dumb to learn from my grandfather all the details of cooking, and now I can't even get 50% of that flavor. Our neighbors to the west, the Johnsons, were gems. They were the kind of people who'd bring over a freshly baked pie for no reason at all. Sadly, they left us for the great pie shop in the sky, and their property changed hands to Karen, queen of complaints and high heels, strutted into our lives. Karen had this idea to start an HOA, which in her mind stood for harassing others aggressively. She went door to door doling out demands like an evil Santa Claus. When she got to us, she took one look at our beloved garden and declared it an unruly mess. Well, excuse us for not styling our apple trees in the latest fashion trends. Our house and garden weren't just symbols of family heritage, they were like family members. If our house could talk, it'd probably spend hours reminiscing about the good old days and grumbling about modern architecture. Then came the day Karen decided to play demolition derby with the historic house on her property. She tore it down and put up what she called modern living at its finest. It looked more like a spaceship had crashed into a glass factory. And the pool she built, part of it was so far onto our property, our garden gnomes started wearing swimsuits. We decided it was time to bring Karen's renovation rampage to a legal halt. The courtroom drama that ensued was better than daytime TV. The judge's face was a picture when he ordered her to restore the historic building. You could almost hear the ka-ching of her bank account draining. Karen's bank balance must have looked like a horror movie after that. She had to sell the property and, desperate for cash, she priced it lower than a limbo stick at a contortionist convention. We bought it quicker than you can say apple turnover. The day Karen left, you could hear the collective sigh of relief from the neighborhood. It was like the end of a reign of terror, except with fewer guillotines and more garden gnomes. Our apple garden is still here, standing tall and proud. A little sanctuary of sanity in an otherwise mad world. And those fruit parties? They're back on, with an added toast to absent neighbors and departed troublemakers. Karen may have left, but the jokes about her pool and spaceship house, those are here to stay. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.